And joining us to discuss, immigration attorney and VP of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, Alan Orr. Alan, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So first, can you tell us about how the immigrant community is responding to this latest round of threats?
I mean, I think they were already in heightened situations every day. Just being undocumented is problematic. And so sort of these constant threat of raids in your communities and not knowing exactly where they are specifics is just making it even scarier. So what they're doing is going into tactic plans for war, saying if this happens, here's the contingency plan, making sure bank accounts, phone numbers are available, someone's able to collect the kids or whatever else is necessary in those situations.
Yeah, what about that, the collateral detentions as well?
Yeah, exactly. So it just alerts the whole community, because if ICE comes in and they find other individuals who are also undocumented, they have to collect them. And the problem is, where do they go? If we already are having this concern about the ICE detention centers already being overcrowded, what is the point of this exactly?
So to be clear, though, the folks who are facing this deportation, aren't they folks who have already had their day in court, or as Rachel mentioned in her package, people that have maybe missed their court date? The courts have, in some cases, ruled that they should leave, right? So shouldn't we respect what the court says?
So this is part of the mismanagement overall. So there's total mismanagement of people in general, but the court's mismanagement is that these cases are decided in situ, which means these individuals never really appeared in court because they didn't get notice to be there. Perhaps they didn't go in the right language, perhaps it didn't come to them in the mailbox, a variety of issues.
Yeah, right.
But the concern is, if they're able to sort of go to these individuals now and say, and collect them, why weren't they able to make sure they had the notices to appear in court? And furthermore, if these individuals had representation, 90% of them would have appeared in court and had their cases adjudicated. So once again, this is just a rapid way to get people through the system, because they're saying, first you get an NTA, which is a notice to appear in court at the border, with no date on it. So then they're going to follow up with you at some point and tell you a date.
So they warn you that you're going to have a court date.
Yeah, but they never tell you what the court date is. That's exactly the problem. So there's this whole change around that's going on that's actually already been to the Supreme Court of saying you can't issue a notice to appear without a date on it, because if they don't know when they need to appear.
Right, it's like appear when.
Exactly.
Just
and that's the problem.
Appear.
Exactly. And the court backlog, which is the other problem. So if you want to address the 900 case backlog first and then start giving these individual court dates that they know they will have to appear, not dates they come to court and then they don't come again, and then you say sometime in the future we'll mail you a different court date, that's very problematic.
It's very unfair, honestly.
And it's not due process.
So I'd like to move over to Texas in the time that we have. A brand new children's detention center is opening, or as they're calling it, the shelters, is opening down there on old oil refinery grounds. It'll house, so far, 250 kids right now, but they aim to house over 1,000 kids. What can you tell us about that place?
One, it shouldn't exist, right? Problematic. It wasn't funded by Congress. It not intended. It happened overnight. Two, it's a private prison, private location, which means this is where we have all the problems with having the correct staffing. If CBP isn't staffed for these things, then how are these agencies sort of staffed to handle these children? And after we've sort of known these reports that there are already 200 kids that weren't reunited with their families, why are we exacerbating the problem by saying, let's build a facility to hold thousands of them? It becomes exactly like the prison complex in the United States. If you build it, we'll fill it.
Right.
And we're paying for it.
And so we've heard that these children could technically leave these facilities on their own volition, let's say a teenager, because they're technically shelters. But the workers at these kids' facilities would then have to call authorities to go back and capture them. Is there any truth to that? Okay,
that's very problematic. I mean, you have a young child. I mean, I think when they say these people are children, teenagers are children. For the most part, under the law, they can't vote and they can't participate. So they're going to leave and do what and go where? For what cognition? So it's very problematic understanding of just saying they could leave if they don't want to be here when they're separated from their families, and where would they go exactly, and put themselves in dangers of being predators of people inside and outside of the facilities. Very problematic.
In a foreign place. But this is the comment from these people that are running the detention centers. They're saying technically it's a shelter, and the children can leave. We would have to call the authorities. So that's the comment from them, and that their response to all of this. So what is the holdup then, Alan, for these kids to find guardians or sponsors to officially take them out of these facilities? Is there no way for like American families to temporarily foster these kids and help them out and get them out of there?
So there are communities that are stepping up, and you see that along the coast of the border. Once again, it's a management problem. If the government wanted to process these individuals appropriately, send judges for the processing, get HHS to get down there and process individuals, we could. We could do anything we want to do in these situations.
Including American fostering.
Exactly, but we choose not to.
Wow.
And fostering may not be the best situation when in fact you can return them to the families that they know, including their aunts and uncles. So sort of separating families at any state is not the best best interest of the United States. And what you've seen now with the raids and everything else is you've seen cities sort of step up and say, look, you're not going to participate in the raids here. We have programs to protect the immigrant communities because they add millions of dollars to our local economy, and we're not going to let you come in and disrupt them. So you've seen that basically in New York, in Denver, overall. So it's a great place to be right now.
It starts with the judges, it sounds like. And as always, we appreciate your expertise on this very sad subject. Alan Orr, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.